Yesterday in the episode 7a, we had discussed first part of the factory design pattern, which was factory method. In today's episode in 7b, we will be discussing the abstract factory design pattern. So I request those who have not seen episode 7a to first watch the entire 7a before coming to this episode of 7b. It will help them understand the concept of abstract factory even better. So yesterday session in abstract method, we had an abstract class by the name a member, and we had three concrete classes which was extending this abstract class and overriding these two methods of the abstract class, register and view profile. And we had a factory and we had a factory method over here called as create member. So we had a single factory method as the product was of single type. As the product was of, there was one abstract class for the product, one abstract class for product. So we had one single factory method which was catering to this one abstract class. So if, and it had a factory method called as create member, and the main, that was the main method which was a membership manager. It would call this static method of the member factory and passing argument. So if it passed life to it, that life would come in this string variable type, and if the type was life, it would return a member of this class 1, and if it was annual, it would return member of object of this class, a concrete, and if it was temporary, it would return a concrete, and it would return an object of these three classes. So as there was one abstract class, so one factory method was sufficient to cater to one abstract class, and then the main would directly contact this factory, and using the static method, it would pass the arguments and an object of that particular type would be returned, and then using that, so this would return object of which type? M type. M is of what? A member, and A member is your abstract class, the parent abstract class. But what if the application scales? Scalability is very common in applications. So if you see the WhatsApp, the status of WhatsApp. So when WhatsApp was originally launched, let's say back in 2007, 2008, there were very limited features. And now the WhatsApp which we see in 2021, it has scaled enormously. The application has grown. So it has, so one of the very important features of Java is the feature of scalability. So now when our application scales, one factory method won't be sufficient. So one set of abstract class, I would have one factory method which would return me objects of the concrete classes of that abstract class. Now what if I have two abstract classes? Now the application has scaled. I have one abstract class as a member, which will give me types of members, lifetime member, annual member and temporary member. Now I have one more abstract class by the name a services, which will give me objects of each type of service the club is providing. The club is providing a tennis court, it is providing a swimming pool, it is providing a banquet hall. So this abstract class has a service ID, service name, and make booking and view booking, two methods. So make booking and view bookings will be overridden in these abstract classes. So now earlier I had 1, 2, 3, now I have 4, 5, 6 concrete classes under two different abstract classes. One is a member and one is a services. Now I will have two factory methods. One factory method which will return me create member, like the previous example of 7a, and one factory method which will be create service, which will return me the objects of services. So this class will return me an object of the classes ordered 1, 2 or 3, and this will return me of classes number 4, 5 and 6 here, 4, 5 and 6. Now as we have two factory methods, we will create a abstract factory of these two abstract methods. We will create an abstract factory of these factory methods. So abstract factory has a prototypes of the factory methods. So factory methods 1 and factory method 2. So these two factory methods, I will place them in an abstract factory. This is what is the agenda of our today's video, abstract factory, right? So episode 7b. So this is what it means. The abstract factory will have these two factory methods: create member, which will return me type of a member, and create service, which will return me type of a service. And now these two concrete classes, the member factory and the service factory, now will extend this abstract factory. So they have to give body to both the methods. So if there is a concrete class which is extending an abstract class, it has to give body to both the abstract methods. So in the member factory, I am interested in which function? Create member. So I will give I will override the create member with the logic, and just to fulfill the criteria, I will give an empty body to the create service method. So as it is returning a type of a service, I will return null. And the create service, so I have a service factory which extends abstract factory. So this will give body to create service, and this will give an empty body to create member. So now I have these two factory methods. So these two factory methods will be placed in the abstract factory, and I will have two concrete classes which will extend this abstract factory and give the implementations. Okay, and now first thing first I need to get the factory. The step 1 will be get the factory, whether it is member factory or service factory, and then once you get the factory, then you can use, depending on the factory you have got, you can call the create member or create service method. So here I have a class called as manager factory, and it has a static method called as get factory. So if I pass member to it, it will give me object of which? Member factory. And if I pass service to it, it will give me object of which? Service factory. Member factory and service factory of type abstract factory. So return type of this function is abstract factory. This is the return type. Because if you return new member factory, it is also of abstract factory, and if you return new service factory, it is also of abstract factory. So return type is abstract factory. Okay, and now my main, the membership manager, the client program you call it, first will call manager factory dot get factory. As it is a static method, I can directly call it using the class name. So manager factory dot get factory, and if I pass member to it, it will return me object of which factory? Member factory. Member factory is of what type? Abstract factory. So on the LHS I have member, which is of type abstract factory. And if I say factory manager manage factory dot get factory, and if I pass service, it will return me object of service factory. Service factory also extend abstract factories. On the LHS I have service, which is also of type abstract factory. Now using this service, I can call create service, and using this member I can call create member. So using member I say manage factory. Now using this member I say create member, and I pass life to it. It will return me object of which class? New life member. Life member is of what type? It inherits from a member. So my M should be of type a member. My M should be of type a member. And using service I can always call create service and pass to it tennis. Tennis will return me what type? New tennis court. Tennis court is of what type? A service. So service, this S should be of type a service. So like this we can create our abstract factory, which will have the factory methods and will have concrete classes which will extend this abstract factory. So I have totally how many classes now? How many Java files I have to make? These 8, these 3, that's 11, and these 2, that's 13. So here are my 13 Java files, and now let's compile and run it. So I'll say compile all, and I will run the file which has main. Which file has main? Membership manager. So as I run main, it has given me lifetime member, annual member. Okay, you can write a temp member over here, and service ID, tennis courts, swimming pool, and banquet hall. Understood? So this is your abstract factory design pattern, used when the application scales and when you have multiple abstract classes whose objects you would want. So when you have multiple concrete classes extending from abstract classes, then you can use this design pattern.